never be too far. Oh no. Oh love, there you are. Just know that love is wherever you are. It will never be too far. Oh no. Raise your voice to sing along. This is not the time to watch. All right. Love is where you are, and how appropriate that is for our topic this week. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and so we are talking about love and relationships all week long. And today, brace yourself because we are going to pump up your um, love o meter. Time to do that. So, in order for you to give love, you need to give love to yourself first. That's what we talked about yesterday. And so it's so important that we look at self love and boost our own love up. We need to have an abundance of love, and then we can give it freely to anyone. It doesn't even have to be like an intimate relationship. You know, I have learned, I used to be so stingy with love because I I guess I grew up thinking, this is what I was thinking when I was a kid, that love was something you rationed and you gave, after a great consideration. And I have totally changed that now. And I will give love to people anywhere that I see them. And can I tell you a story, Kathy?
You can tell me a story. Yes.
Yeah, so we were in one of the stores, just a small, like little bulk food store. And there was a couple with a little boy who was giving them a lot of trouble. He was a handful, and she was pretty pregnant. And you could tell that she was so tired and frustrated. And they were taking a long time at the cash because their son was like just not having it, and I felt so bad for them. So there was a lineup growing, and the lady behind us was talking and muttering under her breath. She was like, you could hear her huffing and puffing. And so my daughter and I said, I'm going to give her some love. So I did. I didn't say anything to her, but I just gave love to her right there on the spot. And what happened next, maybe it was because I gave love, maybe it wasn't. I'm going to think it was because I gave love. They opened up another cashier. And so she actually said, Oh, do you want to go? I said, You know what? You seem to be in more of a hurry than we are. So why don't you go? And so I gave love to her. She got her way, So, but I felt good about it. I don't care. I felt good about it. So, if we have an abundance of love, we can give love to other people, and I love to give love just to any random person and spread love around the world. So, yes, let's talk about how we can pump up our own love meter today. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a review. So, we are talking about our daily Energy Bite show at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every weekday. And we talked yesterday about there is a wrong way to give love. And that is when you are depleted and you're giving love from a perspective of, I want love back. And we cannot expect anybody to give us love back. Love is unconditional. We cannot put our model of the world or our expectations on how we're going to get love back from another person. And we just have to let it go. We give the love unconditional, like I did to that lady. I wasn't looking for anything back from her. I was just giving her some love because she was in a bad place. She was not happy with the situation. So, you cannot put conditions on love. And so one of the ways that we can give love more, I guess, effectively is when we have enough love for ourselves that we have an abundance of love to give to others. So we are trying to get our love-o-meter to be a 10 out of 10 and not expect anything. And we also talked about conditional love. And where does that come from? And, it comes from way before we even remember, when we were little kids, when our parents would praise us for things we did well, and maybe not scold us, but maybe we took it as being scolded when we did not something wrong, but maybe it could be that we were in danger. Maybe we did do something wrong. And so we started to perceive that love was conditional. We got love when we did something good, and we had love taken away when we did something that was either dangerous or not appropriate. And so this is something way back when we were probably 18 months to 2 years old that started to form. And so, it's a lot of long time coming. And so we will talk more about how to give unconditional love. But today we are going to focus on our self-love. So we have 10 ways here to cultivate love for ourselves. So, and I guess the first thing I'm going to ask is, when you look in the mirror, do you see your greatness or do you see your flaws? And we kind of talked a little bit about this yesterday. Is, the zit that's right here that we see, like it's our whole face is just this zit. Most people probably don't even see it. And we need to see our greatness and how, and have some, I guess, love for ourselves, not to focus on our flaws. Because the other thing is, if you think of us all being in our own movie, and we're starring in our movie of our life, we all have our own movie. And so, Kathy, you've got your movie, I've got mine. And in my movie, you are a supporting cast member. And you're sitting in your movie, and I'm a supporting cast member in your movie. Well, I if I think that you are focused on what I'm doing, the chances are you're focused on your movie, so you don't care what any of my flaws, because you're focused on your movie and making sure on your own flaws and what other people are thinking of you. So we're all kind of in the same boat. And so if we can break that cycle of being so worried about what other people are thinking of us, that will take us a long way. And that isn't even one of the 10 things. Imagine that. So number one is to practice self-care. So we can raise our love-o-meter by practicing self-care. So this can be things like taking time out to take a bath. Maybe you have some Epsom salts, you put some candles, maybe you take some chocolate and take it into the bath with you, a glass of champagne or wine, and treat yourself. Maybe you just have, your sparkling water in a champagne flute and just enjoy. Treat yourself well. You might want to go for a walk in nature, or maybe you do some mindful meditation. We did a gratitude meditation a few weeks ago. So we could, you could do a gratitude meditation, and just indulging in yourself. And we take sometimes putting ourselves at the back of the line, and we do things for everybody else. So take some time, schedule time every week to do something for yourself. And that's your time, your me time. I know that's hard to do, but it's really important to do that. And then one of the other things we can do is, in terms of self-love, is about what we put into our bodies. So We can eat healthy foods, which will make us feel better. And so tomorrow we're going to talk about how we can make some chocolate that is good for us, and we can have nutrient dense chocolate, not the the stuff you get at the store, and really kind of fuel ourselves with things that are good for us. So that is one way that we can give ourselves self-love. Number two, we can set boundaries. Oh my gosh, this is can be so hard, especially if, like me, you're a people pleaser. All right. So setting boundaries isn't always that easy. But when you don't set boundaries, you are giving your energy away to other people, and you're draining your own energy for someone else. And sometimes we really just need to practice setting boundaries. And maybe it's a little bit at a time, but we do need to do that. And I am the worst one. I was the worst one for setting boundaries. I'm getting better at it. It's a journey and it's a practice. I'm not saying that I'm great at it, but one of the things that I think of is my work. Now, I'm retired now, but when I was in the corporate world, I was uh, always the one who would pitch in. And if there was a crisis happening, I would take on whatever it was to help out on whatever client it was. And I was also the one that ran our social committee. So if we did any fundraising or anything, people would come to me and ask me to help out. And so even after our social committee was disbanded, people still come to me. And it was so empowering. The last time before I retired, there was this program that they were doing, and they asked me to be one of the leaders. And I thought about it, and my gut reaction always would be to say yes, almost like I have to say yes. But then I thought about it, one, I don't really want to get involved because I've got too much else that I'm doing, and I've already like have more than enough. So I did. I said no, but I said it in a nice way. I just said, "Thank you very much for considering me, but at this time, I really don't have the time to invest properly in that project." And it felt so good to say no nicely. So we can all learn to set boundaries, even boundaries for our kitties, eh? The
Yeah, I
third
went on
one
mute because she's a talker, so I went on mute.
That's good. That's cute. I like when I hear her. Okay, let's practice some gratitude. So, appreciation for our blessings and what we have is really important. We were doing a gratitude journal, and every night writing 10 things that we're grateful for. They don't have to be profound. They don't have to be life changing. They can be very simple, like I'm grateful that it was a beautiful day, or I'm grateful I got to take my dogs for a walk, or maybe I'm just grateful the dogs didn't bark when I was doing my show. I don't know. It could be any of those things. Doesn't have to be anything big. And if you do that every night, uh, it will just make your heart sing when you realize that maybe you thought you had a bad day, or it was a tough day, or you're really tired at the end of the day. But when you stack up 10 things you're grateful for, you realize it wasn't really that bad a day. And that's the challenge. Find 10 things you're grateful for every day. All right. And so are we continuing with our gratitude list? Hopefully, yes. And if you're not, this is your calling to get back on the gratitudes, 10 a night. Now, the other one is to practice positive self talk. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. It's so easy for us to get negative on ourselves. Oh, I look so ugly because I have this big zit here, or oh, I'm not very good at this or that. And the reality is, is that maybe you haven't really explored something and you haven't practiced it. Other people might be great at it and you're not good at it. You just never know. And you have to give yourself some grace and talk positive. And so if you hear yourself saying negative things, try and catch yourself, really look for it. And if you say things in a negative way, try and reframe it very quickly into something positive. It's like, oh, I'm not very photogenic. You may turn that around and say, I'm just learning how to be in front of the camera, and give yourself some grace. Because maybe, you never know. And, I was watching another TV show. So this is our judgment-free zone. My kids were watching a new show that Paris, maybe it's not new, but a show that Paris Hilton was doing, kind of one of her reality on her life. And so you would think Paris Hilton is this, incredible person. She's got everything. She's got, money. She's got all this stuff going for her. She's beautiful. And, she has connections and all these different businesses and things. And when you see her in the show, she has a lot of self-confidence issues. So it can be anybody. And we really need to kind of give ourselves some good self-talk and be kind to ourselves. Okay. So one of the things we can do for that is to do a journal of awesomeness. And now we have a gratitude journal and a journal of awesomeness. You can put them together. And so the challenge here is to write down one thing every day about why you are awesome. What makes you awesome? And so it could be different things. Again, it doesn't have to be profound. Maybe it's something really small, like I'm awesome because I held the door open for the guy behind me, or I, let somebody go in front of me at the grocery store because they only had a couple of things. It doesn't have to be anything big and profound. So if you can add this one thing of why I'm awesome to your gratitude journal, you'll start to see a pattern and start to build some confidence in yourself. And we all are awesome. We are awesome. We just need to think it. We can prioritize our needs. So we can, again, make sure that we're making sure that we're looking after the things we need to that are important. So all these things with self-love are really important. So don't put them at the back of the line. Prioritize them. If you need to, set a time. For me, what I do is I have a day. So Saturday afternoon is my day, my time. So I do my groceries in the morning, and then the afternoon, I have a no guilt zone. If I decide I want to do nothing other than watch TV, binge on TV, and fall asleep while I'm watching TV with my daughter, or I want to go and I get a manicure or a pedicure or whatever, that's my time. And I have no guilt that, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. So set some time that's your time, and it's in a guilt-free zone. Whatever you want to do. And if you want to do nothing, that's fine. Do nothing. Make it up as it goes, and maybe they'll say, oh yeah, today I feel like having a bath or a nice whatever, nice drink on a patio and whatever, or go visit a friend. So make some time for yourself. Make your needs a priority, because I know it's very easy to put yourself last. The other thing you can do is celebrate your achievements. So this is one that I had a hard time with, but we don't need to wait till it's something big. It could be something small. It doesn't have to be anything big. Give yourself a high five in the mirror, when you're going in. Hey, I did a great job today. Yay, high five. Kathy did a great job on the show today. Woohoo, high five. And give yourself a high five. It's amazing if you do those kind of things. Talk to yourself in the mirror and say how good you are or what a great thing you did. It will go a long way. Voicing things out loud really makes a difference. I was at a conference and the guy had us all, rah, rah, stand up. And he had us shouting out, I love you to ourselves. And it was so emotional for me because we were shouting this out. But it's because he had us voicing it to ourselves and it was just ringing in my ears. I was almost crying. And that's how emotional it was. So talk to yourself in the mirror. It's okay. You can talk to yourself in the mirror and practice forgiveness for yourself, but also for others. Because when you hold anger in, you're not loving anybody when you're angry. And I'll give you an example of traffic. When you're in traffic, we've all seen this. You're in traffic and somebody cuts you off, and it's so that jerk cut me off, and you get mad at them. So I'm going to say that person, they don't care that you're mad. They just changed. Maybe you were in a good mood. They just turned you from a good mood to a bad mood by cutting you off. Now you don't know why they cut you off. Maybe they had an emergency that they're going to. Maybe they are in a bad place and they're forgetful and they did it. Maybe they're just a jerk. You don't know. So we don't know what's going on in that person's movie. But then now they've interrupted our movie and made us in a bad mood. And so we want to project positive. So don't let other people, don't hover in anger, because the more you perpetuate the anger, the longer it takes to get out of it. So our emotions are actually a biochemical reaction. And if you let your emotions continue to grab you, so if you're angry, like the person cuts you off and you get angry, if you let it go, you will have that anger, that biochemical reaction will be about 60 seconds to a minute and a half, 90 seconds. And then you will release the anger. But if you stay angry, you're just creating this vicious circle and you will continue to be angry. And that's not self serving. So let go of the anger, practice forgiveness. When that guy cuts you off, just let it go, forgive him. Doesn't matter. It's not, it's just a fleeting moment. I know sometimes it's not that easy. Also, practicing forgiveness on yourself, self forgiveness. Another one, be around positive influences. So if you've got friends that are negative and they drag you down, or you're looking at, a toxic relationship, think about whether you want to stay in that relationship. You want to be around positive people, positive situations. When we listen to the news, we're hearing a lot of negative stuff, and that can drag our mood down. And so, you want to really look at how much do you really want to be in those negative situations, and get yourself some positive friends. That's all I can say. If you don't already have them, stay positive. And my work was like that for me. It was like such a negative environment because of all the things that were going on, and people were, overworked and tired. And I just felt it was dragging me down and I needed to do something about it. And so I tried to switch it off. And if people would say, start talking about negative things, I would try to change the subject and get out of the negative talk. But what I found at one point is that we were so wrapped up in negative talk. When I would talk to someone, the first thing that would come out of my mouth was something negative, because it was such a prevalent around the office. So be careful about your environment and who you're hanging out with and what kind of mood they're projecting. Stay positive. And so also take time to self reflect. And that's going to be no judgment. Okay. Don't start getting yourself hung up on things that oh my God, I did this bad or whatever. You think about it in a positive way. I could have done this better. Here's what I could have done better. It's a learning experience, but I'm okay. No judgment. No judgment. No judgment. Okay. Whoa. So is that a list or is that a list?
That's a list. That's a real list. That's an aspirational list.
Aspirational. So what I want you to do is think about just one thing that you can implement from that list. That's all it is. Maybe it's about giving yourself more time, and setting up a schedule that, every Saturday afternoon is my time for me. Or maybe it's about doing a list of awesomeness, and just pick one thing, because you're right. You can't do everything all at once. But if we're working, it's a journey. And one of my favorite sayings is, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And so just take that one step, and that's all you need to do. So if you can find one thing from what we've talked about today for your own self-love to bring your love-o-meter up, that's all that I'm asking, is just one thing.
That's
And
doable. That's doable.
yeah, but there's lots of different things that you can pick. So if you can do that. Are there any questions about this?
So I find it troubling or a little bit difficult to forgive.
Yeah.
I do. I find it hard to forgive
Yeah,
both
that
myself and others. I think that would be the toughest one.
yeah. So it is definitely something that we need to work on for sure. There are some ways that you can practice forgiveness, but it isn't that easy. But uh, it really is about how you want your emotions to be. So if you're dragging your own emotions down, your own self down, if you continue to harbor things that have happened. And really, to get to um, a good place, especially with love and your own personal journey, being able to forgive is a really important thing. And maybe that'll be a topic that we'll talk about. I think we could probably do something on that. That would be, some exercises on how you can work on forgiveness for sure. So
Oh,
that's
that'd be
yeah,
great.
I think that would be a great topic for us to add to our wellness journey that we're on here. So good one. So I'm going to write that down, and we will do something on forgiveness. That's a good one. All right. So we have our homework today to find one thing that we're going to implement for self-love so we can raise our own love-o-meter. Tomorrow we're going to be in the kitchen making chocolate for Valentine's Day, as we do self-love and love for others, and have something that's nutrient dense when it comes to chocolate. And tastes good, by the way. So we'll see you tomorrow. We are on live at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's not quite daylight time yet. And we will see you tomorrow. So have a great day, and give yourself some love tonight.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.